Hello everybody, today we have Dell Inspiron 167610 series. It's an Intel Core i5 11th gen laptop. Let's take it apart, let's see what we can fix, replace or upgrade. Start with bottom screws. Okay, now we have to separate the bottom case from the palmrest. So find a gap where you can put your tool in and work your way around the edge to disconnect all the clips. Use only plastic tool, otherwise you can scratch the other parts. Alright, and now the bottom is off. Here we have the part number. Now we can see all the internal components. Let's start with disconnecting the battery. Sometimes it's easier to disconnect it once the battery is out. So let's take out the screws. And now we can pull out the connector. So if the battery doesn't hold a charge or it's swollen, you can replace it. That's our battery type number. Now here, that's our storage. So if your laptop doesn't boot and tells you there is no boot device, or you would like to upgrade storage to the bigger one, this is how you can do it. So pull out the drive. That's the NVMe SSD drive. Here under those covers, that's our RAM memory slots. So if the memory doesn't work, you can replace the memory, or you could upgrade this to the bigger one. So spread those arms and you can pull out the memory. Now that's our heatsink. So if the laptop overheats and you would like to add cooling paste between the heatsink and the chip, this is how you can do it. Same with the fans. If the fan doesn't spin, or it's making grinding noise, or it's dirty, clogged with dog hair, you can replace it as well. So unscrew all the screws for the heatsink and for fans. Now gently lift the heatsink. It may be stuck to the motherboard because of the cooling paste, so be gentle with this. If you bend the heatsink, it won't work anymore. Let's pull out first the fan. So to take out the fan, here we have cable for the I/O board routed through the fan. So let's disconnect it. So flip this clip, and now we can pull out the connector. Let's do this on the other side. Okay, now let's disconnect the fan from the motherboard. Here we have the part number for the fan. Now we can pull out this heatsink. So the motherboard was blocking us, so you have to press it gently and then you can pull out the heatsink. Here we have the part number. And now let's take out the other fan. That's the part number. Now, since we already unplugged our I/O board, then let's take it out. So that's our USB port and a card reader. So if these don't work, you can replace this board. Take out this screw. Okay, so that's our I/O board. I usually close those retaining clips, they're very fragile. If you leave them open, you can break them later. And here we have the part number. That's our power button here. So if the power button doesn't work, you can replace it. Okay, so that's the power button board. And that's the part number. Now let's take out our motherboard. So disconnect all the remaining cables. Alright, now let's take out all the screws. Okay, so that's our motherboard. And here we have the part number. That's our processor. Processor is soldered on the motherboard, so if it doesn't work, you have to replace the whole motherboard. Now let's see here, let's see if we can replace speakers. So very often if the sound is bad, you would like to replace your speakers. Okay, so these are the speakers. Here we have the part number. Now let's disconnect the screen from the Palmrest assembly. So unscrew the screws for the hinges. The other side is already broken off. So now gently unfold the hinges. Okay, and this is how we can disconnect the keyboard Palmrest touchpad assembly. Let's see if we can replace the touchpad. Yeah, it looks like if we take out these screws, we should be able to do that. Alright, and this is how we take out the touchpad. Here we have the part number. And now as for the keyboard is riveted to the Palmrest, so you cannot replace it. You would have to buy the whole Palmrest keyboard assembly. If you need parts, check gotlaptopparts.com. And here, that's our DC power jack. So if your laptop isn't getting the power, you can replace the DC power jack. And here we have the part number. And that's our screen, usually sold in one piece. It's very fragile, very thin, so if you try to pull it out, you are risking breaking the LCD. Alright, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.